King's Corner Sports Podcast. I hope you all are having a wonderful day, afternoon, night, morning, whenever you can get to this. But I'm your host, Christian King, and let's get into today's episode. So, I wanted to do my first episode back talking about something that's been on my mind for a little bit. Carson Wentz. The last video I believe I did on him was when I said he was garbage and he was worse than Dak Prescott. But I've had to go back and I had to watch him film. And I'll tell you what I saw. What 2020 was horrible from him, but it was also horrible from an organizational standpoint of the pieces around him. You watch that film and you're like, what happened? There are three things that happened to Carson Wentz, and this is easy to explain because it's on film and easy. The number one thing that went wrong with the Carson Wentz era in Philadelphia, coaching was god-awful. God-awful. I don't know who the quarterback coach was, but I'm not saying Doug Peterson's a bad coach. He's a great head coach. But his coaching staff around him has been atrocious. Atrocious. I don't know who let Press Taylor get as the quarterback's coach, but I don't know what he's been teaching Carson Wentz because I could be doing a better job teaching Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz's mechanics each year have continuously gotten worse without any correction. If Press Taylor is here next year, whoever the quarterback of this team will be in horrible. Jalen Hurts will never progress with Press Taylor as his head coach. As his quarterback's coach. You look at Carson Wentz's mechanics. It's gotten worse every year, like I said, but his footwork, horrible. Throwing motion, back down to this. The ball is dipping again. And for people that don't know, when you dip a ball as a quarterback, that makes the ball go higher, less accurate. He was getting out of that in 2017 with John DeFilippo, also known as the last coach that actually coached him. But ever since he left and went to Minnesota, Jacksonville, and now Chicago, Wentz's mechanics have dropped. That's reason number one, Wentz has declined. Reason number two, the supporting cast. Who's going to succeed with that? The Eagles set an NFL record this year. They're the first team in the 16-game era to have 14 different starting offensive line combinations. What? Okay. But let's just say, okay, offensive line. What about who's he throwing to? That's the thing. Can you even say he's throwing to good pieces? What? Let me just name some of the receivers. He's throwing to a 33-year-old Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey's coming off of a Liz Frank injury. No receivers come back from Liz Frank injuries coming back even 50% of what they once were. I've never seen it. Especially a physical receiver that Alshon Jeffrey was. You take away Alshon's jumping ability, and he's no longer a good receiver. And people are going to say, well, did you watch him with Jalen Hurts? Alshon Jeffrey was horrible with Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz. Most of the time he caught the ball was off of an offensive PI that officials forgot to throw the flag on. Then let's get away from Alshon Jeffrey. Let's go to Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson has only played in 6 out of a possible 33 games for the Philadelphia Eagles. 6. When he's out there, Wentz and him usually do very good. But Wentz has actually only had Jackson for 5 of those 33 games, and Wentz didn't even play all 33 games. Deshaun Jackson's good when he's healthy. Problem is, he's never healthy. Let's go to number 3. The Eagles never supported him. They gave him the contract, and they said, bye-bye. We won't support you. We won't get you anything. Their organization in consecutive years did this. They took J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over D.K. Metcalf because he ran a 3-cone better. What? D.K. Metcalf, the 6'3" specimen in Seattle that's godlike in everything he does. He does have a little bit of a dropping problem, but at least he sees the field because this is something I just need to throw out. D.K. Metcalf has more career touchdowns than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside does catches. And they drafted Arcega-Whiteside over him. Now let's move on to Reagor, the first-round pick. I was high on Reagor. I like Reagor. Still do like Reagor. but he was a second-round pick at best. At best, he's a second-round pick. They took him over Justin Jefferson. I wasn't high on Jefferson. As everybody knows, I was critiquing the Vikings for drafting him. But when you actually think about this, Jefferson just broke the record for most receiving yards in a season by a rookie. And I don't want to hear, well, you were wrong on him. Hey, it's all right for me to be wrong. But Howie Roseman's supposed to be one of the best GMs in football. You can't miss on all these targets for your quarterback. And then, this is probably where Wentz and Peterson and Roseman lost their trust in each other. Well, mostly Wentz losing his trust in them. Wentz was just getting over a quarterback controversy versus Nick Foles. Had just gotten over it, just won a division, carried the team on his back, throwing to deck chairs and lawn furniture, and wins the division. And what do the Eagles do? Draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. You do not draft a backup quarterback in the second round. Ever. I don't care who you are. Unless your quarterback's 39 years old and on his way out, Wentz isn't or was. You do not make that draft pick. You should have done what the Bills did. The Bills needed a backup quarterback and they wanted one for the future. So what they do, they didn't draft a quarterback in the second or third round. They waited to the fourth round to draft a player named Jake Fromm from Georgia. Why would they do that? Because now they have their backup for the future. You never get a controversy going with quarterbacks. You want to always make sure one thing with your quarterback is for sure. He's comfortable. You want your quarterback comfortable. You don't make it uncomfortable ever. Especially one that was just getting over a quarterback controversy. Which is why I'm coming to my final point, which I said I only did 3, but that was leading up to this. Carson Wentz, if you want your career saved, go to Indianapolis. Get out of Philly. Go back to Frank. Frank Wright will save you. And I'm letting you know this too. I'm probably coming with you. I'll be rooting for you. I'm still an Eagles fan, but I will be rooting for you. I will buy a Frank Wright jersey. Carson Wentz Colts jersey. He will be back in the MVP conversation. Actually, I already bet somebody this the other day. If he goes to Indy, watch out Pat Mahomes, watch out Josh Allen. Carson Wentz is there to challenge your guys' so-called dynasties. Thank you. Have a nice day. Talk to you all tomorrow.